Hello and welcome to another Link to the Past randomizer seed. We got another Challenge Cup race going on here. Kova46 versus Amarith Part 2. These two racers are doing a double header today. First seed being a standard all dungeon seed. This match, however, is going to be a little shorter. We have a swordless pedestal goal with pedestal seed choice. Obviously, typical matches run hour and a half tops. Their goal today is just to find the three pendants and pull the pedestal. There's no Ganon required. This is Seto 10987 going to be doing commentary alongside of Tarasu. Go ahead and say hi.
Hey everyone, looking forward to seeing this interesting race.
Oh yes, for sure. And then we have Tresco actually doing our tracking today. He's also our restreamer, so give this guy extra special shout outs for the multitasking. Getting your names typed in here, and we should be underway here in just a minute. This being an go ahead.
I was gonna say, pedestal swordless, there is plenty of opportunity for lots of trolls in this seed.
Oh yes, for sure. And unfortunately for these runners, being pedestal, we could have nice, easy to access pendants, or we could have Mire and Turtle Rock even be pendants. You never know. Also, being open, we're not going to have that standard uncle weapons, so they're going to have to search for any form of weapons they're going to get.
This is very true, and on top of that, if they were to find a sword, all they're gonna get is a 20 with 20 rupees.
All right, and we are both off. Kova is taking the traditional check the uncle, get the tree pull route. It looks like Amarith is following suit with a map check.
Had Crystal on Eastern Palace and Tower of Hera, and then our green pendant at Desert Palace.
All right, so we know our first required dungeon is Desert Palace. The other two pendants obviously going to be in the Dark World.
Now, Desert Palace is interesting for a dungeon because it can be boots locked, and on top of that, you either need Titan's Mid, Flute, and Mirror, or the book to get in.
Right, it is definitely the highest requirement level of the Light World dungeons, that's for sure.
Starting out, not finding much but a couple heart containers. So an 8-bomb drop on Amarith's side is very nice.
Oh, yes, for sure. They're going to take that straight in the Kakariko. 10 sticks in the Sanctuary.
And it looks like Kova also got the same drop.
Yes, item drops are randomized in Randomizer, but they will follow the same set path, and irregardless of whether or not they irregardless of whether or not they kill them at the same time, the items will follow that, like I said, set path. So you'll get the 8-bomb drop, and then you'll get something else. So even if you kill 4 or 5 enemies with no drop, you will not skip your item.
Alright, we're going up to Lost Woods. Kova is going to give a check to the lumber. Now,
And
that's it. Yeah, that is the
that
first
big green
sword they would have found.
Also worth noting, we had a hook shot on Lumberjack Ledge. Do not know if that will be necessary yet.
It does make it very interesting. Amarith is finding that blue mail though, which is very nice, especially when you got low heart.
Oh, correct. It's the one mail upgrade that really makes a difference. And Kova picks up his imaginary sword. right, we are getting our first Kakariko checks. Blind's Hut and the well contain 10 items, and it's a high likelihood that they'll find some sort of starter progression here. Speaking of which, Hammer.
Hammer and Swordless is one of the absolute most important items you need to find.
Oh, yes, it's your first replenishable weapon, the only one that really doesn't run out. Worth noting also, we got a bottle. There's a sick kid check.
Always nice to get that out of the way early.
Right, be able to do it in your first Kakariko visit. All right, now the other half of the main checks in Kakariko. We're going to do this well. Ether medallion, and we're going to be able to pick up enough rupees in here to finalize the bottle vendor. Silvers as well.
Now, since they're only having to do pedestal, silvers could be virtually worthless for them in this run.
Correct. They may never have to find a bow. Ooh, Moon Pearl on the bottle vendor. In addition, go ahead.
I was gonna say, we're just a glove upgrade away from that Dark World access.
Yes, we are, and the knowledge of the other two pendants. I was gonna say that medallion may also end up being useless, depending on where those pendants are.
I'm pretty sure both runners are hoping they don't have to go into Mire or Turtle Rock. And there's the boots in the back of Tavern.
Time to go fast. Also, requirement for that desert play. And yes, the answer chat. All they have to do is pull that pedestal. The moment the item comes out, the screen will fade and they will be in the Triforce room. And Amarith checking the library ledge. If there's anything in here, it is obtainable. Being a full heart container might have been worth picking up, but Amarith says nope, not necessary, and he's out. Kova getting his boots, will be following probably in tow. And I don't think Amarith looked at the digging or at the race game. He's doing this blind, isn't he?
He is doing it blind, and it's the play that I actually enjoy doing too, because if it does turn out to be something, you actually lose more time than the gamble would have lost.
Right. I'm fond of it in modes like Key Sanity where you have to be more thorough, but if I found as much progression in CAC that they did, I might have been apt to just skip it and go look first. All right, so
go ahead.
Both runners still on the same route, going the South Shore. Go ahead.
That's what I was gonna say.
Fair enough. We're thinking quite a lot. We're thinking quite a bit alike today, aren't we?
Well, we did commentate their previous race, so it was bound to happen.
Fair enough. Just tell me to shut up. It's cool. Alright, so nothing at the dam. Sandwiches, right? To respond to chat. Alright, fighting our way through Mini Moldorm Cave. These Mini Moldorms can actually be a bit tad annoying with just the hammer.
Yes, with the hammer, it has such a small hitbox. Granted, it does do tempered sword damage.
Alright, Fisher Price Baby Shield. And 2 imaginary swords.
Uh,
Wow. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, seeing that, you just gotta feel bad and be like, "Oh man, I wish I would have done a sword seed here."
Wow, we are so on the same page. I'm gonna say that would make me feel pretty bad. But
We are heading
nice.
up to the Ice Rod Cave now.
Yes, together even. Don't want to gamble this. Has to be careful though.
Just a nice little bloopy.
Ooh, Amarith taking a moment and setting up the water walk.
Just be careful not to get hit as well.
Right, you'll lose it. Once we're in the water, we're pretty much one hit KO mode too.
That was a mushroom on the Hylia Island.
Yes. Kova not necessarily doing the water walk, but still fake flippering. I imagine both of them are going to be pretty quick to check this hobo, considering the bow at their last seed. But of course, today it's just trash. It was a full heal though. Not that it matters when one hit KO mode.
Amarith setting up that actually a fairly difficult flake flipper from the Hope.
Oh yes, I agree. It's something I'm still trying to learn. You have to hit a very specific pixel when you jump off to reach the edge of the screen. And we're following straight in the waterfall fairy. Probably check Zora Ledge, but unfortunately they don't have the money for Zora himself.
Yeah, I would do the quick check on Zora's Ledge because that doesn't take too much extra time, and then you know later when you have the flippers if you need to come back.
Correct. And nothing much in Waterfall Cave. They're still following each other's footsteps quite closely. Bit of a high five there. Just a heart container. Probably will not be back for that.
No, but once again, like you said, they didn't have the money for Zora, so they may have to still come back to Zora.
Well, hopefully at that point it'll be a combination with Catfish and Mirror. That's about the best scenario they can do with Zora at this point.
And we finally have our first set of divergence. It looks like Amarith is going to go do the rest of Escape, or at least the front half, whereas Kova, I think, is heading to Eastern Palace.
He noped out. I think he's gonna do the bonk rocks first.
Makes a lot of sense. Early boots a lot of times means there's something you've got to bonk early.
Right. And it's just a heart container. Meanwhile, Amarith is taking full advantage of those boots. Nice long corridors that just dash through escape.
Here we go. Kova heading towards Sarashala and Eastern Palace.
It's worth mentioning with those boots, there's a number of very small minor glitches that are normally available, such as hammer dashing. Those glitches are not available in swordless. You actually have to have a sword to activate a hammer dash. It is still possible to do a hook dash, but that's really about it for that and the water walk for boot glitches.
Back of Sarashala actually having the gloves, some 100 rupees, And then the Quake Medallion, a very nice.
Right, value. Speaking of value, we have not found much anything in Escape. We are noping out of there. I am going straight to the back of Escape for Kova. I don't blame him.
With the gloves, very doable.
Correct. 3 easy items. Amarith heading to Sashi to get his gloves.
Now, the one thing that's interesting is because Amarith did the front of Escape, he has that key to be able to continue through the back if he chooses to do it in the dark.
Correct. That all comes down to whether or not they find a map and how well he knows that dark room.
They did find a map in the back of Escape.
Did they? Okay. So it's an item. And Kova just gonna go ahead and head on into the dark world. 8 parts with a hammer in hand. I don't blame him.
Meanwhile, Amarith is actually going to go give us a quick check of Eastern. Our remaining 2 pendants is Mire and Swamp Palace.
Ooh.
Our 5/6 crystals are Turtle Rock and Thieves Town.
There's that Misery Mire pendant. That's gotta feel bad.
It's not the worst though, because you don't need a whole lot to actually clear Misery Mire.
Fortunately, they have boots, so they will not have to have that hook shot to get in the Misery Mire.
And Hype Cave looking pretty hype with a mirror and a fire rod along with another bottle.
That third pendant was Thieves Town?
No, Swamp Palace. Aghanim
Oh.
1 is required.
All right, that's bad.
And without the lamp, they don't really want to go to Aghanim 1 and probably might hold off until they have to do Swamp Palace.
Yeah, typically the later you can do Aghanim, the better, because the more equipped you'll be. Although not as big of a deal in the sword list, because you're not going to be holding out for a tempered sword.
Well, even still, they're having to do Aga without a sword, and doing it with a hammer, or even if they're lucky and find the swag net, is not very.
No, it's not at all. And each of those items have their advantage and disadvantage. The Swagnet obviously has a bigger hit radius for those balls, but it's only going to be able to hit one of those balls, and you're going to be stuck in that animation. So if you don't nail your ball, you're going to get hit. Hammer, on the flip side, is a little more accurate, but it's a lot harder to hit those balls. Once again, that super short range of that hammer.
It's going to be interesting to see when they decide to go do that Aga play.
And there's a bow. That is going to make it available to use those silver arrows, especially on Vidrius.
Probably very excited to see that early bow, especially with the silvers.
Right. Looks like we're heading to the Kakariko Dark World portal.
Makes sense. You have the front of Thieves Town you can do, along with 3 fairly easy checks to do in the Village of Outcasts. And if you really wanted to, there's 2 items in Skull Woods you could possibly get, and Skull Woods is full clearable if needed.
Correct. A fire rod in hand. Guess we can start looking at required items to finish the seed. At this point, we're going to need lamp, flippers. We're going to have to get that hook shot. Titan's mitts, and flute.
Don't forget the Cane of Samaria.
Yes, red cane, the Finnish misery mire. There's actually quite a few item requirements for it being a pet seed. There's another 300 rupees in Skull Woods. Amarith making that back of escape play now.
There's
Speaking
the
of
flippers.
That's one item checked off the list at least.
And now, since there's no more items in Skull Woods, there's pretty much no reason to come back here. Now, keep in mind, even though it's just to pull the pedestal seed, there is a chance that something they need to finish one of those pinned dungeons could be locked in Ganon's tower.
Oh yes, definitely. Progression can be up in Ganon's tower. And that would feel so horrible, but it is possible. Amarith is picking through dark rooms right now with a hammer.
Doing the back of escape, the dark room and escape.
Hopefully finds a decent item for all his trouble. Fortunately, hits the part of the dark rooms where there's water. You can at least see yourself then. I'm going to take a gamble and assume Kova's going to at least try to dip Thieves Town, or at least the front. Another acquired item.
They're finding these items pretty quick.
Oh yes, one after another. You gotta wonder which item's going to troll them.
At this point in time, I would probably guess that it's gonna be the flute.
It could be the flute. I'm gonna say Titan's mints though. Hey,
Well,
there's the flute.
Well, that kills my guess on what was gonna be the troll.
Another commentator's blessing though, right?
These runners are probably loving me a lot right now.
Runners, be sure to give Tarasu a follow. He helps you so much. And is that 3 items in the front of escape, or did we get a map or never mind.
It's only 2 items.
Yep, I spoke a little too soon. They don't like me, apparently. And Amarith about to get the bad news. I feel kind of bad for him at this point.
Amarith still hasn't been to Dark World, so he still doesn't know if that hookshot is needed or not.
Oh, fair enough. There's required items now, at least on Kova's side, has dropped down to just the lamp and Titan's mitts, correct?
Unless they need bombos to get into Misery Mire.
Right. There's no way to tell, though, without those mitts. I would say we do need lamp to answer chat. Not so much for Misery Mire, but for Aghanim. That is not a dark room you want to ever attempt.
True, but sometimes runners will just bite the bullet and do it anyways. If you know where a couple of the torches are for the harder rooms, it's not too terribly bad with that fire rod.
Right. 3 times, that is impressive. I have only ever successfully done Dark Aghanim 1 time. It was not a pleasant experience. Burned 2 potions through it and everything.
This is why I watch races rather than try to compete in them, because I don't want to do dark rooms.
Yes, thank you for those keywords. I try to compete in them. Amarith picking up his Cane of Samaria. But yes, keyword try.
Amarith, however, did not check Skull Woods, and that does contain required.
Well, give him time. I'm assuming neither runner's gonna put off Skullwoods for too long after the Ice Rod fiasco in the last seed.
Also, keep in mind, Amarith has not done Hype Cave, which actually did contain some pretty nice items as well. Hopefully, when he goes there and sees that Fire Rod, he does get directed back to the Skull Wood.
I would assume so. We got a oh yes, Red Cane blind. My personal favorite for swordless is Red Cane.
Red Cane for blind is not too bad of a fight, actually.
No, a little bit of practice, and it's actually really simple. Kova's already on phase 3. Maybe the last block, he's gonna have to finish the last hit with the hammer. But
Very nicely done.
As Amarith just enters Thieves Town, Kova's wrapping it up, gets a red shield for his trouble. That was a very, very clean blind fight for swordless.
That it was. And don't be mistaken, it may look like Amarith is a little bit behind, but he did do that Eastern dip, whereas Kova has not.
Correct. All they've done is diverged a little bit. In Randomizer, it is not over ever until go mode's hit. And half the time, that's not even over. Where's that swagnet?
I don't know. You might come back for that when you find the cape, because Swagnet, for some runners, is just easier for dealing with Aggie.
Correct. Being Ped, though, and not having to do Aggie 2 might sway that answer, at least for me. Aggie 1's not too bad. Aggie 2, however, I love me a net for. And with Mir here in boots, we're going to be able to get a King's Tomb check here in a moment. Just a piece of heart in the graveyard ledge.
Gonna walk right over to that King's Tomb and see if there's anything that progresses them towards what they need.
Right. Expert heads up play doing these together without Titan's Mitts. I've seen Titan's Mitts in this cave before.
As have I, and I've put it off for an extreme amount of time. But that's a shovel. Let's have a fetch quest.
Right. And I would not blame them whatsoever for going and checking that shovel. I said this in the last race, and I'll say it again. Shovel has been becoming more and more just valuable. I think the last 3 or 4 races I've calmed, Shovel's had something at least decent.
This is true. Now, another interesting thing, we did get a hint that the book was on the Tower of Hera. So, if the Titansmiths is locked in Desert Palace, they might have to go dip the Tower of Hera just to get in.
Right. And also, Tower of Hera, that's a very convenient place to have that book. They'll immediately be able to check Ether Tablet. Because in Swordless, you don't have to have a Master Sword for a tablet. All you need is a hammer.
It's again proving why the hammer is probably the most important item in Swordless. And it looks like Kova is going to start heading up east up Death Mountain.
A fair play. And clear most of it. Everything but Dark World.
Though choosing not to grab the old man at the moment.
Yeah, that Dark Room's a little more difficult without the sword.
Amarith down to 1 heart on just having Hammer Blind. Did not have enough mana to use the.
Oh man, intakes of death.
Luckily, it is not a required dungeon, and it would only get a shield from it, so not a
Right.
terrible loss at the moment.
Nope, and Amarith just nopes on out of there. I wouldn't blame him. Kova picking his way through Tower of Hera at this point. And some interesting information. Green pendant holding half magic.
That might very well be a good thing to go grab.
Depending on if it's convenient to grab or not. Yeah, for sure.
Amarith getting his buried bow.
Answer chat. Kova46 is the Esper form of Terra from Final Fantasy VI.
And there's that Book of Medora, so that makes Desert Palace now full clearable.
And did you see that hint?
I missed it. I'll catch it on the restream.
There is a glove upgrade in Palace of Darkness, so we know where those Titansmiths are now.
That is an amazing hint to find.
That is almost exactly what they need. That is a lamp short of go mode, and they could theoretically, like you said, just force their way through Aghanim in the dark. So
Amarith getting a hint that says a map requires fire and Hera, so that room will never be.
right. At this point, if I was Kova, I would finish my mountain checks and immediately start clearing as many pendant dungeons as you can. Go to pod, get those Titansmiths. That way, if and when you find that lamp, if it's in one of those pendant dungeons, you're just that much further ahead. And then if it's not, at that point, you decide, am I going to do Aggie in the dark or not?
And there's Amarith getting both his fire rod and that mirror. Gonna make routing a lot easier.
Answer chat, no, those hint tiles have not always been there. That is a new thing just with version 30. The latest release actually is where those were included in at.
Sometimes those hints can be really nice. Sometimes you get the hint about an item right after you find the item, and then guaranteed there's always 2 joke hints in green text.
Oh yes, just walk away. Alright, so enter the Paradox Cave. Meanwhile, Amarith is activating that flute. Say hello to Swag Duck. Oh yes, there's a multitude of joke hints. There's money in the banana stand is another one. And finding that red mail.
Paradox Cave just having the red mail doesn't really pay out for very much, but with how much health they have, the red mail really isn't neat.
No, definitely not necessary.
Now, if I was Kova, I would probably head straight over to Pod simply because dark if you get those gloves, you could route in both Mire and Desert Palace at the same time.
Correct. And then at that point, once you're finished there, you make your decision on whether or not you're going to need lamp.
It all boils down to how comfortable are you with those dark rooms, because there is a pretty rough dark room in Misery Mire as well.
Oh, yes. There's a very rough dark room at the very beginning of the dark rooms in Mire. Fortunately for these runners, though, that room is practiced far more often in the dark than Aghanim. There are a couple decent strategies you can also use to manage that room efficiently.
That is very, very true.
And small key in the first chest means that Pod was not bow locked. Irregardless, they have that bow.
Really, the only things they need is just those Titans mitts, which both will have that hint saying that they're in Pod. They need to go do Aghanim 1 to get that hook shot to finish Swamp Palace, and depending on how comfortable they are, they might want to grab the lamp. But the big question is where is the lamp?
Yeah, that's the flip side to this. That lamp could be almost anywhere, aside from being behind a dark room. Makes you wonder if it's worth the extra time to look for it, because it could be 30, 45 minutes.
And Kova picks up their Titans mitts.
It's going to go ahead and finish checking through Pod. Maybe the lamp is here. There's a few places it can be.
Got a couple other small checks they can do.
And I bet a nice cup of tea would help.
Yep, one of our 2 joke hints that the runners could possibly find.
Yes, in chat, the hammer is the requirement for picking up the tablet item. Really, the only thing the hammer does not replace the sword for is medallion usage. In dungeons such as Ice Palace, you have to stand on the little emblem for the medallion, but you do not have to have the hammer for it.
Now, Kova just found their cape in Palace of Darkness.
Ooh, interesting.
And choosing not to go check any more chests in there. There's only one more that the lamp could have possibly been at. Wonder what they're going to decide to do next.
Maybe they're just going to decide enough is enough. Let's head for it. It looks like it. And yes, in my personal opinion, I think Christos came up with that specific hint. I don't know for sure, but it sounds about right.
Did miss it. What was the medallion for Misery Mine? Ether. And there's that lamp. Kova pretty much is in go mode.
Wow.
Can do Misery Mire, Desert, and then run right into...
Yeah, that is full-fledged go mode at 37 minutes and what, 20 seconds?
That sounds about right.
"37 minutes. Kova is set to take the sweep tonight."
Still boils down to that execution.
Right. Amarith needs to go fulfill that glove hint if he wants to stand a chance in this race. Still waiting to see if Kova decides to go back and get that swag net or just hammer away at Aghanim.
At this point, the extra time it would take to go get that net, especially not knowing where your opponent is not worth it. So I would suspect they are going to ignore the swag.
I agree with you for the most part. The only part of me that really disagrees is the fact that they've already got to go to Lumberjack to get that hook shot. So it's technically almost on the way. But I
Not
think all in
really.
all, well, with the Dark World trip, but all in all, I think I agree with you. I would not mess with it.
Well, the reason why it's not on the way is in order to go to Lumberjack, you have to have already beaten Aghanim.
Oh, yeah, I'm an idiot. This is why I don't randomize well. All right. Lambo fight.
Fire Rod and Magic, this should be fairly quick.
Almost pulls the one side selection.
Interesting choice. Amarith, knowing where the glove upgrade is, choosing to instead go ahead and clear Desert Palace.
Yes, this is a decision I don't understand. When you realize, when you know you can do mod or pod and get the glove and then do Mire and Desert together, why wouldn't you just do pod? Right, this is our second chance tonight to potentially get us a God Mire. Yeah, fair enough. He does not know where that lamp is, for example. He could be doing this to turn in the green pendant. But we know the green pendant is half magic. I wonder if he got that same hint.
I'm pretty certain he did.
Well, if he did get the hint, I don't know if it would be worth it.
At this point, with the dungeons that they do have to do, I don't know if I'd go for the half match.
Right. All right, here we go. Let's see if this is a Godmire.
That is
my
a really
goodness.
nice find.
Yes, it is. Congratulations, you got your Godmire.
Always an amazing feeling.
Speaking of feeling, I have a feeling this is going to be a sub 1 hour. Go Mode Swamp is pretty quick, and all the only other thing they have to do is Aghanim. Even Vitreous is going to be a joke fight with Silver Arrows.
Very much true. Looks like Kova is not going to be setting up spooky action for us this time around.
Chat bringing up another good point. Argus is going to be a menu boss tonight, so will probably be the longest boss fight we have next to maybe Aghanim.
This is true. That is a very annoying fight without a sword.
It is. Now, maybe starting this a little early, considering we haven't made it in yet, but there's a little mini game we can play here. Aggie's going to be firing a combination of red balls and blue balls. If anybody would like to take a guess at how many blue balls they think Aghanim's going to fire, I'm going to go out on a limb and say 4. What do you think, Tarasu?
With how this seed's been going, it's really fast. I'm gonna guess probably 1 or 2.
Gonna guess 1 or 2? Well, finalize that answer in chat. We got a bot working.
It does look like Kova is gonna go pick up that swag net, as that's the only reason to head back into the Dark World on this area.
Interesting. I guess we both guessed a little incorrectly.
I wouldn't bother with it just because it's quite a bit out of the way. But at the same time, if you're not comfortable with Hammer Aghanim, Swagnet does make a lot of sense. Meanwhile, Amarith is making their jump into Pod and looking for that Titan's mid upgrade.
Right. I guess I do have a thought on that. If this was Amarith's decision on settings, Kova may or may not be familiar with Swordless. And if you're not familiar with Swordless, fighting Aghanim using the hammer can actually be very difficult. Maybe that's the thought going through his head.
Very, very possible.
He may not, if he's not done Swordless before, he may not even realize you can do it without Swagnet.
Swordless is a whole nother can of worms in and of itself.
It is. It's a mode that a lot of people don't really play.
I know the logic behind Swordless. I don't run it because it's just miserable to me.
Well, I enjoy Swordless. I actually do quite a few Swordless seeds myself.
I just don't want to do Hammer Ganon.
Yeah, Hammer Ganon's no fun. Basically have to hit him from the left side, or you're not gonna hit him on phase 2 at least. We got a very brave 0 bet on blue balls in chat.
Amarith getting their Titan's mitts. And it looks
Also,
like
go ahead.
Looks like Amarith is going to continue clearing more of Pod.
Yep, looking for that lamp, no doubt. Of course, we know it's in Meyer's shed, so, but it's a fair play in his eyes, so I could agree with it.
Well, luckily, if he's just looking for the lamp, there's only 2 more chests he would want to check. Outside of those 2, there's nothing else here he would want to look for.
Correct. Ian takes a fall on the bridge. If I didn't know better, that fall almost looked a little deliberate, so so we can get another pot for the mini Helmasaur.
That's what it looked like to me, too. But the interesting thing is, they are heading into these dark rooms. May not
Yes.
realize all that they need is just that hook shot and lamp if that's what they want.
Yeah, I have no clue what he could be looking for. And that basically just locked him out
Oh,
of
he
checking the
hasn't found
last.
the flippers yet.
Oh, getting burned by by Skull Woods again.
That's right. It didn't check Skull Woods, and that's where those flippers are.
Ouch. You'd think he'd beeline there after the last game, though.
With those Titansmiths, he's gonna go check Dark Death Mountain. We've only had 1 blue ball so far.
And just one blue ball with a very swag dash with the net. Congrats to Rasu, by the way. You won that one.
Bound to happen every once in a while, though it happened both seeds that I guessed right on the Aghanim blue ball.
And at 50 minutes and 30 seconds, we are heading after that hook shot. We're getting close, but we might pull a sub 1 hour.
Depends on how comfortable they are with those menu strats against Argus. That is a lot of time to sink in for.
Right.
Oh, and it looks... Oh, our medallion for Total Rock is Bombos, which they have not found.
Well, that at least is lucky. I'm going to take that same moment I take in every race I commentate and throw a shout out to those runners. Give them a follow. They're working their butts off tonight. Doubleheader. After a very nasty all dungeon seed as well. Give them a follow. They sure deserve it.
And with that, Kova picked up their hookshot, hitting straight for Swamp Palace. And since this is a go mode Swamp Palace, it is going to be very, very quick to clear the dungeon, except for that Argus.
Oh, yes, for sure. Also, shout outs and give a follow to our tracker, Tresco, also our restreamer. He is double tasking it tonight. And Tarasu joining me on comms, he could use one too. Thank you guys for allowing us to have the chance to commentate. And a special thank you for providing these restreams to begin with. It's a lot of work that you guys don't have to do. We appreciate it. Hey, that's our pleasure.
All right. Amarith is making a play into Spike Cave. And now we're getting to watch as Kova dives into the Swamp Palace. Of course, once Kova finishes, Argus gonna run straight to that pedestal and finish up the race.
Yep, that's all he's got to do. Once again, there is no Ganon required.
Meanwhile, Amarith is gonna go ahead and give Zora his 500 rupees. I wonder what the scamfish has for us today.
Hey, at least we'll get to find that out, right? Chat, I like the way you think. Although, let's be honest, Amarith at least deserves a bloopy. Come on. Wow, and the call from chat.
Yep. The 1 rupee from Zora, that's gotta feel bad. Probably now gonna head over to King's Tomb. Just for the shovel.
We now know that Shovel must not have had anything important for a change.
That's what it's looking like. Though it looks like maybe they're heading into Skull Woods. I hope so.
I really hope so too. Meanwhile, Menu Boss.
Kova making it look fairly easy, and I will say this is not an easy thing to do.
No, those double shots, they're actually really difficult to set up. Fortunately for Kova, though, missing the ice rod and the Bombos medallion actually works to his advantage. It's a simpler menu.
This is very true.
Just one more puff at the 55-52 mark. We're in line. We're gonna get this sub 1 hour, I think. If we can silver Argus. Not an easy thing to do, though.
Argus does move really fast when he's in his phase 2.
Would almost just switch the hammer and reset his movement pattern. And Amarith with flippers in hand. Where are we going?
I think forgetting that they needed to get the hook shot. With that, Argus is down, and Kova is going to be running right to that pedestal.
And we got a time paradox in chat. Calling his own trolley fight. I don't blame you, dude. That was your dick. Argus was not gonna hold still. And do we have Amarith attempting a lampless Aggie fight?
Looks like that's where they're heading. Probably feels really behind and doesn't care about the lamp. Just wants to hopefully make some.
Well, we are in the Lost Woods, making the final trek over to that pedestal. Taking a smack from the thief, just saying, forget it, keep that money. I don't even need it anymore. And wait for it.
I'm gonna check it.
You win, it says. I love that. Here we go. And at 58 minutes and 28 seconds, GG's Kova46 with a sub 1 hour pet pull.
Very nice. GG.
Guys, come on, get those GGs in chat.
No one wants to do friggin' free.
And it looks like Amarith is going to go pick up their lamp now.
Yep, there was that light cone. Amarith is popping open Misery Mire. I'm not sure how much further he's going to go with this. Hopefully we will get these runners in here for an interview too.
Kova is certainly not joining us because he has not set up a mic at his place right now. So.
Okay. Well, we got him in chat at least. What do you think, sir? How'd you feel about the combination of seeds y'all had to perform today? Yeah, no kidding. You nailed the sub 2 and the sub 1. Well, I hope you're super proud of that sub 1 hour pedestal seed. That is nice.
And very nice use of some pretty obscure glitches earlier, too.
Oh, yes. We were pointing a lot of those out. That is a multitude of game knowledge on some of those glitches. Like the fairy revival, you don't see that every day.
Amarith making their way to Vitreous after finding out they had a Godmire.
Right, gonna go shoot some eyeballs.
Also, we're welcoming Amarith in here. Welcome, Amarith. Still running.
Hey, how's it going?
We got you.
Hey, GG's Amarith. GG's on the time paradox.
Yeah, just a little. Ruining the magic of television a little.
Oh, it's fine. So how do you feel?
Slightly disappointed.
Yeah, well, it's to be expected. You guys both ran a fairly good game, though.
Yeah, that second one was a little bit better, but man, that first game where I just completely miscounted Skull Woods and just... Oh, man.
Yeah, I was thinking maybe you had just miscounted it. I didn't think you'd really were gambling it.
No, because, like, I don't know what happened, but, like, I was like, oh no, I got arrows in the first chest, and then Mothula dropped the Master Sword, so I'm good, I'm done here.
Yeah, well, it happens to the best of us.
Yeah.
Well, GG's once again, Ko. You enjoyed that smash. And congratulations one more time. Give these runners a follow, guys. They work their butts off for us.
Oh, it was a fun race, though.
It was. It was a fun race to watch and commentate on.
Oh, they were both really good races and pretty solid execution. Just that miscount for the ice rod.
Yeah, if I had gotten that, I would have saved so much time, so many trips into Turtle Rock.
Right. And I mean, you're on track for finishing this seed too, according to the restream. So I mean, I wouldn't feel bad at all. It's still a very, very good time.
Oh yeah, this one I was feeling a lot better about. I was like, I got a little bit ahead of myself, as you saw a couple minutes ago on there, where I was like, all right, I got everything I need. Let's go to Aga. Wait, I don't have the lamp. What am I doing? I forgot. I can't do dark rooms.
Yeah, that was a bit of a topic of discussion. Whether or not a runner would feel comfortable trying the Aghanim dark rooms, because it's not something that comes up hardly ever, and it's arguably one of the hardest, if not the hardest, dark room in the game.
Yeah, it's the only one that I really haven't gotten any practice on, and I was like, heck, I'll go for it for a little bit, and then I just nah, my health is tanking way too hard. I gotta find that lamp. Then, at least it was sitting right outside Meyer for me, so.
Yeah, I think I feel about the same. I've practiced a lot of dark rooms, but Aghanim, no. And I don't think I'll ever be able to successfully run it.
Yeah, Kova's right. If at least I had a sword, that tempered sword that we would have had at 7 minutes in or whatever.
Yeah, and many Moldworm 2 swords next to each other.
I was like, oh man, this would have been great.
That was a feels bad moment for the commentators, don't worry. So, any part of the race you particularly enjoyed? Anything that stood out to you?
Yeah, I like how it was my first pedestal one. It was my first swordless, so they were pretty fun. It was a bit interesting, something slightly different, just trying to get that whole in the mindset of okay, what do I need to finish when can I go mode, when do I know exactly what I need to finish. So it was nice. It was a good change of pace compared to the standard just go get Gan or kill all the crystals, get all the dungeons, all that. So it was a nice change of pace from just the regular what you normally see.
Right.
It's always nice to change up pace, especially after what was a little bit of a really fast start in the first season, then kind of slowed down quite a bit for both of.
Yeah, I definitely need to go back and look at that first game, just and rewatch what happened, where I could have picked up time and just work on routings and all that a little bit more, and some execution. I know what I need to work on, so it's a matter of just filling it in from there.
Right. It's actually been a great help, especially on my matches that have been restreamed. Watching myself next to my opponent, seeing what they did, what I did, where I can improve. Huge thank yous to all of our restreamers for even making that option possible.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Makes it so much nicer to go back and look through, because Twitch doesn't like it when you have multiple tabs open, have 2 different streams recordings going through and watching it at 2 times speed. It kind of freaks out a little.
Yeah, it doesn't like it at all. Tarasu, anything else you want to add?
Just GG to our runners. Thank you, Trezco, for creating the restream and tracking for us, and thank you for commentating with me.
Oh, hey, it's no biggie. I enjoy it. I've said it 100 times. I'll continue saying it. I enjoy commentating. I'm sure you're enjoying yourself as well.
Oh yeah, it's a lot of fun, especially when I get to see runners, able to execute way better than I can. It lets me see where I need to continue to practice.
Right. And I might mention this is Tarasu's second day commentating. GG's how fast we picked it up.
Yep, for sure.
Very nice. Now, I've only done commentating once, and it was kind of what am I doing?
Right. I've been at it for a few weeks now, but I'm still relatively new.
Yeah. Oh, we're on to Aga now. Oh, there was a weird thing that comes up here during the Aga fight that I had never seen before, mostly because, well, having to do Hammer Aga is a little weird, but, yeah, like, one of the blue balls does like a weird bounce that I've never seen happen to like anyone before. Like, I wonder if it like hit the shield or something. It's in like the next like minute or so.
Now you've piqued my interest.
Like I kind of stood there for a second, like when it happened, because I was like, "Wait, what?"
Yeah, but Digi, you did good on your first day of comms too.
And hey, you can only ever really get better, right?
Oh yes.
So many.
Well, thankfully I have.
What?
Oh, was
What?
that it? Yeah, I don't know what that was.
Right? Like that was just like, huh?
It's like it stuck to you for a moment, then bounced off of you into the wall, and then exploded.
Good physics.
It-
That
Hey, this
you
is
know,
a
just link to the
perfect
past
game.
things.
Right, this is a perfect game. There's no glitches. There's no oddities, right?
No, it's definitely not made with spaghetti goat held together, but with like glue.
I've seen worse coding nightmares.
Right. Well, once again, GG's to both runners. They put on an amazing doubleheader for us today. Just the pure endurance to put on 2 seeds in a row like this. I mean, it takes some effort. Thank you guys for the show.
Yeah, anytime. GG Kova. Go enjoy playing Smash and all that fun stuff, and see you potentially in brackets.
Well, that's about all I have. Tarasu, any last thoughts?
Once again, just GG to our runners. Make sure you give them both a follow. And hope to see y'all around for some more races.
All right, I'll be around too. Thank you guys for showing up. Everybody have a nice evening.
Same to you guys. Little heads up, we'll have the winners buy race on Sunday, where we'll determine who of the top runners from the group stage that went 10-0 will actually skip round 1 and go straight to round 2. So that will be happening on Sunday. No Link to the Past randomizer tomorrow on ZSR, but yeah, 1 day off is completely fine. We'll have plenty of Ocarina of Time randomizer tomorrow, though, if you are interested in randomizer in general. So yeah, since Amarith just already was here for the interview, I guess we'll cut the restream here. There's not a lot more to happen. Only Swamp Palace shenanigans and then grabbing the sword. I hope Amarith is fine with that. If we cut
Yeah,
here.
that's fine.
Because it's 3 AM in the morning for me and I'm really getting tired.
Go get some sleep.
Wow, dude. Kudos.
Alright. Thanks everyone for watching. Shoutouts to Seto and to Tirasu for doing amazing commentary. And also, I don't want to forget to Tale for doing the tracking for Game 1. She's already in bed. So, yeah. That's it for today. Thanks everyone for watching, and GG.